Anansi returned to the village, his heart heavy with regret. He gathered some food from the pot and took it to the villagers. At first, they were surprised. They had never seen Anansi acted so kind, but slowly they accepted the food. As Anansi shared with the villagers, something incredible happened. The pots sitting in the corner of his home began to glow again. He rushed to it, and sure enough, food began to bubble up once more. This time, the food didn't stop. It kept coming, filling his house and spilling into the village. Anansi could hardly believe his eyes. The pot had come alive again, and it was more generous than ever before. He realized that the old woman had been right. The pot worked only when it was shared with others. From that day on, Anansi changed. He shared the food with everyone in the village, never taking more than he needed. The villagers began to trust him, and they no longer saw him as just a trickster, but as someone who cared for them. Anansi learned that kindness was the true magic. The pot continued to give, but now it gave in a way that brought joy and community to everyone. Whenever someone was hungry, they knew they could count on Anansi and his magic cooking pot. The pot became a symbol of generosity, a reminder of the importance of sharing. As the season passed, Anansi's reputation grew. He was known not only as a clever spider, but also as one of the most generous beings in the village. People would come to him for help, and he would share the food from the pot with them without hesitation. One day, as Anansi sat by the fire, he thought about the old woman in the forest. He didn't see her since that day, and he wondered if she was still watching him. He smiled to himself, knowing that her wisdom had changed his life forever. The village prospered, and Anansi's heart grew full with pride. He realized that the true treasure was not the magic of the pot, but the love and respect he had earned by being generous. The village had become a family, united by this simple act of sharing. The magic cooking pot continued to fill with food, but now it symbolized more than just food. It represented the spirit of the community. Anansi, once known for his tricks, had found the greatest magic of all: kindness and the joy of giving. One evening, as Anansi sat under the stars, he thought about how far he had come. The pot, now a humble part of his home, still glowed with a soft light, and the villagers gathered around, laughing and enjoying the fruits of their labor. Anansi felt a deep sense of respect. He remembered his first night with the pots. Then he had selfishly eaten all the food without sharing. He had been greedy, but now he was filled with gratitude. I have learned something valuable, he thought. True wealth is in sharing, not hoarding. As time passed, Anansi continued to teach the villagers about the power of sharing. He would tell them stories of the magic cooking pot, of how it had changed his life and how it could change theirs. He encouraged everyone to look out for each other, to never forget the power of kindness. The villagers flourished, and so did Anansi. But he no longer cared about wealth or magic. He had something more important, a community that loved and respected him. The pot had given him more than food. It had given him a family. One day, when Anansi grew old and wise, he passed on the magic cooking pot to a young child in the village. "You must share this with others," Nancy said, his voice soft but full of wisdom. "The pot will only work if you have a kind heart. Never forget that." Child smiled and nodded, understanding the lesson that Anansi had learned so many years ago. As Anansi watched the child take the pot, he knew that the magic of the cooking pot would live on, not because of the food it gave, but because of the kindness it inspired.